Welcome. Thank you for joining me. And the channel name is Awakening the True Self, My Journey Home. So, tonight, the title of the talk is Healing a Broken Heart. And I'd like to start with a reflection. How healthy is your heart, anyways? And I'm not talking about physical health, I'm talking about your heart's ability to love no matter who, no matter what. Your heart's ability to receive love no matter who, no matter what. So, this is what we're going to be looking at and exploring in this talk tonight. And one thing to remember is that we cannot find the source of love in the external world. The source of love is within us. It's something that needs to be remembered or reawakened. So, why is it so difficult for us to love? What's happened? We came on this earth open arms, just flowing love. And over time, we experienced accumulated hurts related with love, unmet expectations, betrayals. Almost like a child, we've learned not to touch a hot stove because, ouch, I'm not doing that again. Well, this same kind of scenario has happened for us with love over time. So many disappointments. And what we've begun to do is build walls of protection around our hearts, a fortress. We've limited the ability of our hearts to love out of fear. Our open arms of love have changed over time to now living our life in fear, fear of being hurt. So tonight, I would like to let you know that we have limited our capacity to love and to receive love, but that can all be changed. And we'll explore that. We're going to first start with how can it be changed? Well, the first step is to love ourselves, to recognize our worth, to recognize our value, and to appreciate our goodness within. To use language to the self that is respectful. It's only with loving language, language that we would use to a loved one or a friend, that would empower the consciousness, give us strength to heal from a trauma in a relationship or whatever. So the language we use is very important towards ourselves. It nourishes us. Same language we would use for someone else. And it's really just becoming aware of our potential, our beauty as a human being. We are very unique and special beings. We have to remember this. So, step two, the first is, of course, learning to love ourselves, respect ourselves. And the next step would be learning to appreciate and recognize the beauty in others. And in our spiritual program, we often talk about giving others a good wish. What is that? Well, a good wish is a spiritual vision that we have on all other souls. It's using what some of us refer to or have known as the third eye, divine vision. We see right beyond the behaviors, right to the soul, and we find the goodness in that soul. Even if that soul is 95, 99% a mess, filled with weaknesses and, maybe ugliness, we find the 1% or less of the goodness, because every soul has goodness. We find it, we focus on it, and that's what we see and attend to. That is a good wish, because it empowers that soul and it helps that soul build its good qualities, which in turn brings happiness to the soul. That's a best wish. That's a good wish. And so, every soul, like ourselves, we've all experienced, we have a story, we've experienced pain, we've experienced inner turmoil, struggle, hurts, but we look beyond all that. We're all familiar with that. We can write, even our hurts and everything will be different, of course, but we know what we're talking about. We all have a story. But when we look at souls, we look beyond this story. We look deeper into their intrinsic value, their intrinsic goodness, and we focus on that. And the third way in which we heal our hearts is to develop a deeper bond with the source of all souls. Now, we all have different ideas of what that source is. Most of us will agree there's something greater than us on the world. But what that is different for all humans, and that's fine. Some refer to that as God, the higher self, Buddha, whatever. But we develop a relationship with that source, because that source is the source of love for souls. And just like a friendship, just like any friend, even though invisible, we develop a relationship. We can just sit in our own living rooms and call out, listen, you're invisible, but I want to get to know you better. I want to love you. And what happens is that source will make itself present to you. And you will start to experience love, because the source, this is the only place we can get love, real love, unconditional love. The source loves us no matter what. So when we call out to that source and that presence begins to make itself known to us, we start to feel love. And that love heals our wounds, our deep wounds. And when we experience this healing and this love, it's natural that we'll love back. And so this receiving and giving of love starts to be reawakened. And the more we feel the love of the source, the more we love ourselves. And eventually, if we spend enough time with this, in this light, with the source, this is true. We become like the source, and our capacity becomes unlimited to love. So, practical ways that we can sustain our hearts is every day write down and be attentive to some of the qualities of the soul. What is, name maybe three things that you did or I did that was good that day. Focus on what you have done that was good, what you did to yourself, the language that you used to yourself, what kindness you showed other people, and spend more time with the source. So, in closing, love is like a muscle. When we practice love, we practice forgiveness, compassion. We look beyond the behaviors of others to their intrinsic value and worth. Our love and ability to love grows. So it's really all of these are just practices to remove the barriers that we've built up around our hearts, allowing them to dissolve so that we can become love, a source of love in this world. And love is desperately needed. So, in the last reflection, where in your life can you or is in need of your love? Om Shanti. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you again and again and again. Bye.